Hi everyone, welcome to my Carving Club. We're going to be making a stone wall hanger today, and I'm so excited for making our very second project. In today's project, we're going to be getting the instructions as well as the blank. If you got advanced, you'll get walnut, and we'll also get the screw to make the wall hanger, and if you got beginner, we'll get bass. Inside you'll get the sandpaper as well as a little bit of wood butter to make sure that your piece can be finished. And let's make our piece. Next up is what tools we're going to be needing. Inside of my toolbox, I'm grabbing my Shinto Rasp as well as my 12mm spoon gouge, my Japanese carving knife, any carving knife will do though, as well as my pliers. And this is to just have a little more grip as I'm putting in the screw. And of course, my bench hook. This is definitely needed for safety purposes. All right, so grab your blank and we're going to be drawing out the halfway point of our piece. So you can either measure it or eyeball it, whatever works best for you. I eyeballed it, as you can see. And you want to draw a line all the way around. I'm also going to draw a line about a ½ inch around the hole that where the screw is going to go and the shape I want my wall hanger to be. And then I'm going to grab my spoon gouge and I'm going to go around the line that we drew. So I never want to cross that barrier because I want to make sure I keep that material. And this is going to take quite a while, to be honest, because we have a lot of material to go over. But I'm just going to keep carving until I reach the shape that I see on the profile. And I'm going to keep turning it around to make sure that my hand is not in the way of the tool as I'm carving, to make sure I'm keeping it as safe as possible. With this project, we're taking out thinner pieces of material and it's kind of hard to see what we're making as the shape because obviously what you see above you is very different than what you see at your profile, so feel free to lift it up at times to kind of measure it that way. You really want to make sure that you're creating that peak shape as you're carving. At this point during my process, I realized that my tool was getting a little bit duller. It was really hard to push it forward, so I grabbed my sharpener to see if I could make the tool a little bit sharper and see if that would help the process. This is a felt machine sharpener that I grabbed from Japan, and it's really fast and easy to use, and it's a great way to be able to sharpen your tools. But you do want to be sharpening your tools if you're working with hardwood throughout your project, especially if you're feeling like your piece is going a little bit slower. And now, as you can see, it's much faster and it's a lot cleaner of strokes that I'm making. Now you can see the peak of the wall hanger, and as you can see, I'm going a little bit slower to make sure that I don't cross the line that we drew originally. And the reason why is because I need room and space to carve with my knife when I flip it over to make it rounded. So just take smaller, slower carving cuts to make sure that you don't go too far. This is where you want to be as far as how far down you want to go. Quick little rover break. He loves little pets. Now we're going to be carving the other side of our stone, and I'm drawing my arrows to make sure I remember which way our grain goes. And if you want to pause and draw those too, I highly recommend it. I am doing the push cut again, very similar to how we did the loop spoon. end grain is at the top and the bottom, our wood will go up and down from where the arrows are. And I'm just trying to round out the edges of the stone so everything feels really organic and rounded. At this point, you can see that I need to kind of match the two sides. So I'm going to grab my Shinto Rasp, and there's a rougher side and a finer side. I'm going to do the rougher side. And these are the two ways you can use the Shinto Rasp. You can either pull the piece towards you, or you can pull the Shinto Rasp up. Essentially, you need to make sure that you're just going against the teeth. But it's a really great way to go against the grain, and an easier way than carving with a knife. Definitely a cheat. So once that's blended, I grabbed an actual stone that I have at my studio, and I wanted to make the piece look really organic and real, right? Because the way that this stone will look more beautiful is if it has those imperfections. So I drew out kind of the way that the actual stone, the tiny one, looks, and I took out more material to match that. So not everything was so perfectly rounded. I continuously checked to make sure that it was matching and that it was getting the same vibe or feeling of a real stone. This is the finished stone before it's sanded and oiled. I really love the feeling of it. It feels very organic and real. So let's grab our sandpaper, and we're going to open up the little packets that we put into your kits. If you didn't use the Band-Aid, feel free to put that aside for another rainy day. And if you did, all is well. Hopefully no one hurt themselves too badly. We have 3 different types of sandpaper: 80 grit, 150, and 220. You can always tell what kind of sandpaper it is from the back, but if it doesn't have the number, it normally is the roughest that you want to go first, and then you're going to go up from there. So 80, 150, then 220. I like to fold mine in half and then go back and forth with the grain, and I like to mimic the shape or the curve as I'm sanding. 80 will do majority of the work, and then 150 and 220 will really be able to finish off and polish the piece. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy how it turned out. Now let's grab our wood butter. We make these in-house. They're made out of beeswax and mineral oil. I would get a microfiber cloth and put a little quarter size amount, and you can always add more. It should change the color of the wood and saturate it. You always need more during the end grain because it just wants to soak up that that finish because of how dry it is. I first added it in so it would catch, and then I grabbed the tweezers so I could fully put it in. For more security, add a glue that's good for both wood and metal. You're finished! Look how great your piece looks. I'm so proud of you. Last step is to add it to the wall. Pre-drill the hole, add a dry screw wall if needed, and simply add it in. Thank you so much for following along on another Mills Carving Club tutorial. I'm so excited for you to have your very own stone wall hanger. Hang some bags, hang a hat, Enjoy it, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye.